We do 150,000, and if we did it for the full 15 years, so you would have $150,000 worth of coverage for the whole time that you had that mortgage, and it would run you $301.22. Now, I have an option that will give you $150,000 for 10 years, and it's $206.19. Now, follow my thought process on this. That might be the better option for you. If the $206,000 fits into your budget, the majority of the time that you have that mortgage, by the time you went out 10 years, you're not going to owe $150,000 for the last 5 years. Does that make sense? You will have built up so much equity in the home. Your daughter would be insulated if something were to happen to you. But for the majority of the time that you have that mortgage, when the debt is the heaviest, I always tell people to imagine a bucket, and every month that you make a mortgage payment, we take a little more sand out of the bucket. And so as we get down to 10 years, the bucket's not going to be as heavy. And it would save you $100 a month, which, in my opinion, that's $100 is $100, right? That's $1,200 a year. And then you would have the peace of mind knowing that, look, your daughter, if something happens to you, your daughter doesn't have to worry because the majority of the mortgage would be taken care of. And if she didn't want to pay the full mortgage off, you said your mortgage payment was $2,400. Okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that she takes that that something happens to you, and she takes that $150,000 and she doesn't pay off the mortgage, which wouldn't really be in her best interest anyway. With $150,000 at your current mortgage rate, she could make 63 mortgage payments. That's over 5 years worth of mortgage payments that she could make and not have to take from your other life insurance. If she took that $150,000 and invested it, it would actually last her longer. But at the minimum, if something were to happen to you, she could make 5 years and 3 months worth of mortgage payments and not have to worry at all as the mortgage balance came down. You know what? You are the second woman that I met with a woman on Friday in Sacramento here in California, and she looked at me and she said, "Honey child, my kids don't want my house." She says, "If something happens to me, they're going to sell it. They don't want to live here. I've already asked my kids." Isn't that funny? Oh, I'd rather live in North Carolina. Yeah, at 32, I'd rather have Maryland. When you're older than 32, you like whereabouts in North Carolina do you live? Oh, my goodness. How's the weather down there right now? Yeah. Yeah. You better brace yourself, Miss Hattie. It's fixing to get a little hotter. You know what? So do I. My husband and I are getting ready to move to Florida next year. And everybody says to me, "Oh, why do you want to move down there? It's so hot." I said, "You know what? I love it. It makes my skin feel good. I love it." So let me tell you what the next. Does that sound like it would be that would be more appealing to you to know that she had at least the bulk of that? I mean, you're a healthy woman, so we wouldn't anticipate that anything was going to happen to you, but yeah. But then you would know that you at least had that kind of set aside, that if something should happen, she would have, and at the very minimum, she'd have plenty of time to sell the house. Or maybe she wants to rent it, or maybe she wants to turn it into a vacation home or something like that. But, you know, more likely than not, especially when you have kids that are on the coast, you know, they want to sell it and take the profit out of it. Okay, so my other option is we could go 100,000. The 100,000 would take you $100,000 for 10 years would be $139.21. So now, you know, you're less than $150 a month. It's $100,000 still. It's going to buy her plenty of time to do whatever she needs to do to get the house ready to sell, make the mortgage payments until it does sell. You know, she wouldn't have to worry. You know what I mean? And that's for 10. Yeah. And, you know, it's $60 cheaper. So it's considerably, you know, it's a considerable savings. I think that that might be, if I were in your shoes, I would want to keep my payment. I like that $150 or less a month. That's just me. It doesn't feel like as much of a bill. You know what I mean?
Some coverage better than nothing.
So, and knowing what you know about your daughter, it would put her in a good position for what she's going to want to do, and that's to get rid of the house. Let me tell you what the next step is. The next step for Thomas is, it's our job to help you apply for the coverage. We don't, even though I'm a field underwriter, I don't make the final decision. The insurance company makes the final decision about your coverage. So we would take an application today. We would take a voided check. You're not going to give Thomas any money today. Much as you might like to give him a tip, don't give him any money today, Miss Hattie. There went your tip, Thomas. I'm sorry. So we take a voided check because until they actually get you approved, we don't want to take any money out of your account. But this is the really important part. When Thomas leaves today, you are covered. If something happens to you tomorrow, God forbid, a heart attack or a car wreck, they would continue to process this application, and they would write a check to your daughter for $100,000.
So you paid nothing.
As long as they would have approved the application. So let me give you an example. If you lied about something on the application, so if you said, I'll give you an easy example. If you said that you had breast cancer 20 years ago and they found out that you had breast cancer 2 days ago, then that would be something where they wouldn't approve the application. They would consider that would have been false. But as long as you haven't lied on the application and everything is, we've answered all the questions correctly, then they would continue to process the application and approve it as if you were still here. And then they would write a check directly to whoever you name as your beneficiary, your daughter, your grandson, whomever. And once they do that, once they approve it, they will, then they'll draft that first payment out of your account. They're going to send you a policy in the mail, an actual policy, and as soon as you get that, we want you to call Thomas so that he can come out and kind of go over that with you, make sure everything is as you want it. And then you'll sign the policy and you'll be all set. All right. So listen, Thomas. Hang on one second, because I'm going to pull up the application for that.